Norma Mendoza-Denton is a professor and author of the book Language in the Trump Era. She joins me now live from Los Angeles. And Norma, this debate seemed to be a bit more civil than other debates we've seen in the past, even with more substance, some might say. Why do you think that was?
I think that there was a tremendous bar for uh, for Vance to clear, to basically appear that he's normal, he's not weird as he had been labeled. So he really honed in on the message of I am completely here, reasoning like a completely normal person, and I'm not going to say anything too strange. So I think that that actually ratcheted up the civility of the debate. And I think that's something that voters really took away from this portion of the election, is that at least they appeared to agree on some critical things. They appeared to respect each other and to try to work together.
Indeed, and it did seem like there were certain issues on which J.D. Vance, the Republican, rolled back, if you like, on abortion rights, for example. But I did think it was interesting that he would not confirm that his candidate, Donald Trump, did indeed lose the last election.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of analysts are saying that he built a carefully constructed edifice of civility and seeming normality, only to have it crash down at the last minute because he wouldn't agree that Donald Trump lost the election, and that led, I think, to Walz's take-home moment of "Are you kidding me?" And I think that left a lasting impression on at least on those polled afterwards.
Well, let's talk about Waltz a little bit more. I mean, he had a bit of a rough start. What did you think about his performance?
Well, he seemed extremely nervous at first, and sort of I think danced around a couple of points, and then at one point he had a terrible misstep by saying that he was friends with shooters, and he clearly meant he was friends with victims of shooters. But Donald Trump jumped on right on that, and then
Vance,
also
yeah.
he wound up saying that he had misspoken and that he was just a knucklehead in that sort of folksy Tim Walz way.
Hmm. Now, all of this came just a few hours after Iran's attack on Israel. What did you think about how each candidate reacted to that?
I think that both candidates were basically likely to support the state of Israel, and in that case, J.D. Vance came in a little bit stronger, saying that it's for each country to decide what they're going to do, and that United States will stand with its allies. Whereas Tim Walz seemed to be kind of running around the topic a little bit, because that was early. That was the first question in the debate. So Walz hadn't found his footing yet.
So, by the end of it, was there a clear winner for you? Did one of them seem more vice presidential than the other?
I think it's a toss-up. A lot of people are saying that Vance was incredibly slick, right? And both sides, actually, interestingly, both sides tried to downplay their own candidates' abilities. So that they were saying, oh, Walz has been in government for a long time, and the other side was saying, well, Vance has been a practiced debate lawyer, started at Yale, so he's slick like that. But I think in the end, it was a toss-up. It was a toss-up. Definitely, Vance was much more well practiced and almost like elegant debate-wise, but and Walz was a little bit more clumsy, but he really seemed more, in some ways, truthful, veridic,
Mm.
just because he wasn't contradicting his own past statements and contradicting essentially everything that his running mate has done.
So, this was the only debate the two vice presidential candidates are going to have, probably the last debate at this point for the election, as Trump will not debate Kamala Harris again. How much
That's
effect do you think that this debate is really going to have on voters or for voters?
I don't think it will have a great big effect, except it does place Vance a little bit more on the normal side, right? It showed him performing what could be seen as sort of maybe possibly a little bit more statesmanlike, but it didn't affect Waltz very much, I think, because Waltz came off as his affable, folksy self, and there are two very different visions for the future of the country.
Norma, thank you for that. Norma Mendoza-Denton, a professor and author of the book Language in the Trump Era. Thanks so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.